welcome to Oxford Town Hall to the Oxford Real Farming Conference. How are you all doing? Wonderful. What a way to start 2024, to gather here. This is the perfect beginning to the year. And thank you for being here. This is Mudeka. My name is Sam Lee. This is Charlotte Pulver. This is Simmy Sing. And to our wonderful soil bearers, Albie and Rowan over there, thank you very much. I'm out of breath. That was hard work. This is a blessing for this tree. This is a Blenheim orange. It's a local breed of apple. It comes from just down the road. It's been gifted to us to become the mascot, the tree of the Oxford Real Farming Conference, decked in mistletoe already. It's a wise tree for its years. And we're going to do a little song and celebration for this apple tree, which in a few years will grow to become a fruit-bearing tree, which we will be able to bring back the fruits of this conference. So this morning is about sending your intentions and hopes into the soil and the roots of this beautiful being, and may it prosper. I'm going to hand over to Charlotte to tell a little story about why we are here in Oxford.
It is such an honour to have this gathering in Oxford, this amazing city on the banks of the River Thames, for it is the waters that brought the peoples here to this amazing place of England. It has always been a place of convergence, of pilgrimage, and of gathering. And thank you so much for making your personal pilgrimage here today, from wherever you have travelled from, whether that's near or far. It is amazing to be here in the heart of Britain. For our ancestors revered and held in great esteem places which were of geographical centre, and Oxford was seen as the geographical centre of Britain. And wherever there is a centre point, it is revered as a place of importance and belonging. So I hope in our time together that you may feel that infusion of belonging. And in essence, Oxford is a place of immense learning, of radical evolutionary thought. And may you be infused by that place of learning. So we welcome all you farmers, all you land lovers, all you crop growers, medicine makers, craft weavers. Thank you so much for joining here today. And may you feel infused by that place of learning, this place of learning together, remembering we are all teachers and students, and we are all guides for one another. And there's something I wish to share with you about the actual location where we are, in the centre of the city. But we truly are in the centre. If you take a few steps outside the town hall door, just to your right is the actual centre point of Oxford. And on that point is Carfax Tower. And there's immense myth connected to the centre point of Oxford, where Carfax Tower is. And it's to do with the fertility of the land and of agriculture. And I'll share with you a nugget of that myth. And it's about a red and white dragon. And these red and white dragons were at war with one another. And in their war, they emitted immense barrenness across the land, and not even the women could bear child. And a big pit was dug where the Carfax Tower is, and they were placed in the pit and fed a beautiful mead which brought them into a balance. And then the fertility rose back to the land, and children were able to birth the future generation. But that's it in a nugget. And so may this time together be a time of fertile inspiration, and may you take much honey from all the meetings that you have with one another. May that honey feed your mind and feed your heart and give strength to your hands, so when you go back to where you've come from, you can work it back into the land.
Thank you, Charlotte. From every part of the British and Irish Isles, we have brought soil. We have from Scotland, England, Ireland and Wales here. And in your intentions, I'd like you just to take your mind to that patch of land that you have come from, where you live and dwell and love and work and steward. And just imagine the texture, the quality, the smell of the land from where you've come, and all the juice that you're going to harvest from this gathering over the next couple of days, and what that is going to do, the inspiration that you're going to receive here, and to be able to take that back to your place of work and love, to your family and your kin and kith, and what that is able to spread, and how we're going to fertilize our lives and land from this. And we're going to take that thought and we're going to put that into song, so that when we plant this tree in the community garden in Wolvercote, just down the road, it'll have all of your blessings. And we're going to do this with a bit of music. And are you up for singing? Oh, wow. Now, there's a real audience. It's very simple. We're going to hum a note. And the note is going to be this one. You can hum, but fill this hall with all your vibrations and resonance. Let me hear you. A little bit louder. Beautiful, beautiful. Keep that coming. When the land whispers, don't be a stranger. That irresistible call to come home. To the garden we'll swear our allegiance, renew an old contract to grow. And I felt in my heart a great yearning, leave a life so beholden to time. So I packed up my promise to face the uncertain, to attend to lost loves and land life.
Pembera, 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 vanokara vachi, pembera, 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 vanokara vachi, pembera. Pembera, pembera.
Hopes for this conference, all the people you wish to meet, the connections you wish to make. I'd just like you to focus that onto this soil which we're going to add to our tree, soil that's come from across the country, and indeed souls from even further afield, from around the world. And just going to hum to our Blenheim Orange, a true local Oxfordshire variety, though it may bear fruit for generations to come. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Did you have your coffee or your tea? Good morning. So we have soil, but the other element that is so important to life is water. And without water, we will not exist. So my name is Dee Woods. I'm a bit of a grower, troublemaker, chef, cook, but I'm also a priest in the West African Yoruba faith. I'm a priest of Oshun, who's the divinity of water, and I'm also a mother of secrets and of wisdom. So I'm an earth wisdom keeper and land elder, and I'm going to pour libations to honor our ancestors, to honor our elders, and to honor our children and everyone here. I'm going to pour libations for those people in the world who are landless, for those people who've been removed from their land, for those lands that have been extracted from, for those lands where there's conflict, and make a call for healing. And this work that we do here in Oxford is repair work, it is healing work, right? When we come together and we discuss the various aspects of agroecology and food sovereignty and justice and injustice, we are doing repair work. So I'd like people to say Ashe after I pour the water. Ashe. And Ashe means so be it. So we're calling in everything. So I remember the first time I came to the Oxford Real Farming Conference, I was in Fringe, in the pub upstairs. And I didn't really have a ticket. And I walked in, and I just walked in, had a look around. There weren't many people who looked like me. And I said, that needs to change, because there's so many people from the majority world who are here, either as immigrants, as second, first generation, third generation, who are connected to land, who produce food, who grow food, who tend the forests. And why aren't we here? So with a few other people, some who are in the room, there's Lion, Land in Our Names, Land Workers Alliance, Jyoti Fernandez, and several other people, we made it our mission to make this the most inclusive farming conference in the world. And I will say we've succeeded in doing that. The participation. Thank you. We have participation from around the world. We have peasants, indigenous people who've contributed online. Some people are here in person, but we still have to continue our work of repair because there are many people who wanted to be here and couldn't be here because of our wonderful system of immigration. So people weren't granted visas. There are people who couldn't be here or can't even participate online because of the lack of connectivity or electricity. Right? So we still have a lot of work to do in this food movement, in this food sovereignty movement, in this agroecology movement. And we need to be bringing more people along with us. All right? We can't just be farmers and growers and academics and whatever. We need to bring everyone along with us because you know why? We all eat, we all embody food, we all embody the earth, we all embody water. So we need to do better. But thank you everyone for being here and showing up in your full sense, ready to participate. And let's have an amazing conference. And I'll pass over to Robert.
Thank you, Dee. And hello, everyone, and welcome to the 15th Oxford Real Farming Conference. My name is Robert Fraser. I'm the Executive Director of the Real Farming Trust, the small charity behind this conference. I'm also a livestock farmer near Hay-on-Wye, and as ever, I'm extremely grateful to see you all here today and extremely proud of this conference and extremely proud of the team behind it. Farming is filled with ebbs and flows. Some years are harder than others, and every day can have its challenges. As farmers, we have to cope with floods and drought and volatile markets, fallen stock and other external forces we are unable to control. We face an uncertain future with cheap imports, broken supply chains, lack of funding, policy changes, and terrible governance, and often quite a bit of criticism. But yet, as stewards of the land, we turn up every day, caring for our crops and animals, and working long hours to the best of our abilities to provide for our families and our communities. We are tenacious, pragmatic, and resilient because we believe in tomorrow. As the Canadian poet Brian Brett said, farming is a profession of hope. The hope is never stronger as the days lengthen and we make plans for new growth and new life. And what better ways to prepare ourselves for the year ahead, to fill our heads with inspiration and our hearts with hope than this conference, with this year celebrates its 15th anniversary. A conference that has grown from 80 as a fringe event 15 years ago in 2010, and now over 1,800 here in person and many more online. It has shaped the movement, has led to new ideas, projects, relationships, families, and helped to accelerate the pace of change towards an agroecological future. If I may, I wanted to take you back 6 years when I stood here and introduced someone who has been a huge inspiration to me, Perrine Hervé-Grière. Perrine set up La Ferme de Bec-Éloin in Normandy with her husband Charles, and together they wrote their extraordinary and beautiful book, Miraculous Abundance, which I urge you all to read. Before starting their farm, Charles traveled the world studying indigenous tribes. In the Amazon, a 10-year-old boy invited Charles to go fishing in his tiny dugout canoe in a fast-flowing and dangerous-looking tributary of the Amazon. Despite the strong currents, the small boy navigated the river with ease, paddling right up to the base of a powerful waterfall where he found a vein of countercurrent and started fishing for piranha. Charles tells how this experience left an indelible mark on him, an appreciation that a current always causes a countercurrent, And as the current becomes more powerful, the countercurrent likewise becomes stronger. As Charles explains, I felt an immense joy rising up in me. I had until then seen our world as the great river, powerful, strong, rapid, and terrifying, and I often found myself swept up against my will by the current, unable to resist. Modernity takes us along without asking our opinion, and no one really knows where it is going. Yet this world, that is so incredibly powerful, generates countercurrents, lively little veins of water that give us hope. If I learned to identify them, I realized I would not have to struggle, to exhaust myself in a losing battle. By positioning myself in the proper place, I would be able to carve out a path aligned with my heart and my dreams. There are so many little lively veins of water in this conference, and I truly hope that this 15th anniversary marks a point of change, a point at which these countercurrents start to swell, gaining momentum and strength until eventually they spill over the riverbanks, creating a new channel and becoming the dominant force. But to become the dominant force, we must work together and recognize that farms must have people at their heart, be places of generosity, sharing, conviviality. Human beings can be an essential and positive force for good, and this conference is testament to that. Farms can be places of abundance, of healing, of beauty, and of harmony, and that can have an impact well beyond that of the soil under the farmer's feet. As Charles and Perrine explain, we came to realize that when we touch the earth, it connects us to everything that makes up human life. Food, of course, but also health, landscapes, employment, the economy, the art of living together, and even what we hold most dear, our emotions, our presence in the world, and our relationship with life. I want to leave you with Charles and Perrine's powerful concluding remarks. Industrial agriculture is a profound perversion of the farm profession. Rather than a supporter of life, it becomes a sower of death. Industrial agriculture is only a reflection of our biocidal society. It kills living beings in quantities that exceed comprehension. It stinks of death. We are better equipped than ever to enter an era of respect and fulfillment of life. We just have to develop our conscience and recognize that we are nature, her very best effort perhaps, and our mission is to ensure gentleness and wisdom with all our fellow travelers. They expect only one thing from us, that we might become truly human, that we show ourselves worthy of this unique position of ours. I hope the stories that you will hear over the next couple of days will give you inspiration and hope for the future, and I wish you a very successful and joyous 2024. Thank you.
Without significant changes to how we interact with our environment, 1 million species will be eradicated from the planet. Scientists have found extraordinary levels of human-made toxic chemicals in 2 of the world's deepest ocean trenches. And there is a mountain of discarded clothing festering in the Chilean desert that's so large it's actually visible from space. Closer to home in the UK, only 40% of our habitats that are important for wildlife are in a good ecological state. Perhaps it would be easier to disengage from all this, keep my head down, throw myself into work on the farm. However, keeping my head down isn't something I'm very good at. So coming to an event like the Oxford Real Farming Conference allows me to engage in meaningful conversation and feel energized, empowered, and hopeful. Whether you're a landowner, a land worker, a lover of the land, or all 3, you're likely here because you know the solution for many of these problems can be found by reconnecting with our ecosystem and through nurturing and respecting the soil. My name's Katie Allen. I'm a new entrant farmer. Although I didn't grow up with any connection to farming, my fondest childhood memories are of making mud pies in my dad's greenhouse. My hands and clothes would get filthy, and my nails would be jammed with soil. Little did I realise how important that experience was. My work as a farmer didn't begin until about 14 years ago on a small holding in Cornwall. I remember sowing a herbal ley into one of the fields for my first handful of sheep, the local farmers peering over the hedge at the strange leafy plants growing in my field, rolling their eyes at the young lass from up country, planting things in the ground that sheep would never eat. I spent the following 9 years working as a grazier in the Cotswolds alongside my husband James. We worked with landowners that valued the impact of livestock on their land, and we gained a reputation providing an important grazing service for unimproved grasslands, arable cover crops, triple SIs and floodplain meadows. It gave us the opportunity to farm, growing to a flock of 250 sheep and a herd of 45 cows. I have to be honest, running large numbers of livestock with no land security, no control over your infrastructure, and no subsidy support is pretty brutal, especially with a mortgage to pay and demanding family life. James and I have 5 children between us, and my role as a mother is as challenging and time-consuming as my work as a farmer. However, at the start of 2023, we finally moved to our own farm. Great Cotmarsh is a lowland grasslet farm of the foot of the Marlborough Downs in North Wiltshire. The farm has entered the second year of organic conversion with the Soil Association, and we're certified with Pasture for Life. In partnership with Regenerate, we have baseline measurements of the organic matter and carbon stock in our fields so that we can effectively measure the carbon we're sequestering through a range of grazing techniques. And we're planning to convert 30% of our improved grassland into wood pasture to benefit wildlife and create a wider variety of habitat for the livestock. However, I also believe trees are the smartest way to future-proof our farm and give us climate resilience. I'm particularly passionate that farmers should be able to realise the value in the fibre they produce. Determined to see this worth in my own wool clip, in 2021 I graduated with an MA in fashion and textile design, creating an award-winning knitwear collection using the flock's wool under my brand Loopy Use. There is a really important story to tell around the role of farms in growing our clothes. And this year, work on our farm around fibre will unfold further still as I begin cultivating dye plants, and James continues along a journey to set up a micro-scale veg tannery, which will become one of only 3 remaining veg tanneries working with cattle hides in the UK. With the right support, farms, both small and large, have an opportunity to make a difference to the people in their local communities, to improve the nutritional value of food, and to drive forward the nature recovery we so desperately need. The community here at the Oxford Rural Farming Conference offers us all the ideal springboard to embrace these possibilities and learn how to make our farms more resilient, more profitable, and abundantly rich in natural capital.
Thank you very much. Mor an taing fáilte gan na húlaúine gan na cholábhairt seo, héanháis a chéin bhí an heo tí na nuasas na heilein na níor de bhíníor thua de Galapa. It's great to be here. My name is Patrick Morrison. I'm a crofter, a musician, a Gael from the Outer Hebrides in the Western Isles in the northwest of Scotland. It's a long way to come down here to this central location of Britain in Oxford here. And but it's fabulous to be here amongst the farming community, the land workers, the stewards of the land, and to learn, to discuss, and to share. My own family are ones that were cleared of land and moved, and we have a croft now that's been in the same family for 100 years, and the practices that have been on the croft have changed, and much of it to do with what was advised and the way that markets drove change. And something that I've been very interested in doing on our craft is digging into what was done for generations, what was done before mechanised and industrialised agricultural advice came to our islands, and thinking about what sustained an indigenous population there for centuries, understanding the type of stewardship, the connection with the land, and trying to regain some of that for what we will need for going forward. So for me, I'm looking after this land for a duration, but it's part of a continuation, a continuum not just of crofting and managing the land, but also of being part of a wider community, a part of a culture. For me, it's very important that this land relationship is part of a cultural, a language, an oppressed history as well, and that I am continuing that both in the soil and in arts and in conversations as we will be having at this conference. So much of farming practices now are part of a network which is so global, but there are many threats with climate and with supply chains changing going forward that risk challenging us all more so than we've seen in the last few years. And so for me, I feel it's really important that we are doing it as part of a wide network, an ecology of people, of culture, of history, of environment, of biodiversity, of families, of politics, of land rights. This conference is an opportunity for us all to think much more about that whole network and ecology. It's a way to widen our thinking, to think about all the people, all the elements that connect us to each other, that connect us to the land, that affect us as stewards of this land. And these are really important things for going forward. So it's great to be here, and it's going to be great to be sharing and hearing from all the people that are here as well. Ta Felicia.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Paula Joya. I was born in Brazil, and I'm also a migrant. I live in Germany, and besides of being a migrant between Brazil and Germany, I'm also a migrant from urban areas in rural areas. I live in a community farm, an agroecological community farm in Germany, where we have different animals living together with us, where we have some forest, and where we have a beautiful vegetable garden. And we regularly have also exchange with the eaters of the food we grow. And our community also engages politically at territorial level, and also globally through the global peasant movement, La Via Campesina. We know as community that in order to harvest healthy food and to harvest a healthy planet, we need to sow seeds. We need to sow the seeds of agroecology, the seeds of solidarity, of honor to our ancestors, seeds of justice, and seeds of equality. And we also need not only to sow the seeds, but also to accompany the growth of these seeds. 15 years ago, some among you sow agroecological seeds in Oxford. Over the years, several other of you helped watering the seeds, weeding it, resowing the seeds, and also shaping this beautiful garden. Today, we celebrate this harvest that goes far beyond this town hall in Oxford. Over 30 years ago, some of our global farmers' ancestors also sowed some seeds. The seeds of the peasants' farmers' unity. In 1993, a global peasant movement called La Via Campesina started germinating. And today, we harvest so much from it. We harvest food sovereignty as a vision of future. We harvest agroecology as the transformative path. We harvest popular and rural feminism as the approach for justice. And we also harvest the peasant rights, which are defining peasants as political subjects and also as right holders. This conference here offers for us a great opportunity to share and also to celebrate, on one hand, the harvest of the Oxford Real Farming Conference, and on the other hand, to put it together with the harvests of La Via Campesina. Therefore, it is important to highlight that what happens here in Oxford is not isolated. It's part of a much bigger movement. And in times of climate change, in times of increased armed conflicts, in times of uprising of right-wing forces, dismantle of the United Nations democracy, increased hunger and injustice in this world, we need to unify. We need to unify our forces and bring the popular sectors together. We need to exercise our people's power in order to harvest life instead of death. And from a farming perspective, agroecology is the path to get there. Agroecology is also a science. And foremost, agroecology is a movement for social transformations. So let's use these 2 days that we have here together to water agroecology, to keep building unity among popular classes, and to strengthening this movement, so that we can, in the future, harvest some of these apples, but also and especially that we and also our future generations can still harvest life in the years to come. Let's globalize the struggle, let's globalize hope. Globalize the struggle, globalize hope. Globalize the struggle, globalize hope. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Fran, for inviting us. Dee, we are here. It's a pity that one of my farmer friends from Kenya couldn't participate because of visa issues. I'm also happy for meeting friends here, and a lot of them. My name is Milion Balai. I'm the General Coordinator of the Alliance for Food Sovereignty in Africa, AFSA. It's the biggest civil society movement in Africa. We have 43 members. We are networks of networks. We have farmers networks, fisher folks networks, pastoralist networks, indigenous peoples networks, women networks, youth networks, faith-based institutions, consumer, almost everyone. Our constituencies are almost, close to 200 million Africans, the majority of them farmers. AFSA in 2013 asked whether agroecology works in Africa. We did our research, and it told us that, yes, we can produce more food through agroecology, more food which is nutritious and healthy, more food which is nutritious and healthy, produced without impacting our environment, actually building resilience into our system, culturally appropriate food, and the right to food and justice is in agroecology. AFSA works with two hands. On one hand, we fight. On the other, we propose solutions. We fight with a very powerful narrative. This powerful narrative tells us that we can't produce food without using agrochemicals, without high-yielding varieties or GMOs. We need to invite others from outside to make our land productive, basically inviting land grabbing, and reorienting our agriculture to markets. market reorientation. So this is a very powerful narrative. It comes in different jackets, mainly as a green revolution agenda. So we are fighting with that. We are fighting with the cumbersome date that we are having. We are fighting with the loss of our land, diversity, and with the climate crisis. It's a lot of fight that we are having. But we propose also solutions, a number of solutions. We have a program which is called Healthy Soil, Healthy Food, which is promoting the practical side of agroecology. And me and Paula are also embedded in the social movement side of agroecology in one of the legs. We also have an agroecological entrepreneurship program where we encourage entrepreneurship in our farmers, and we use the climate space for promoting agroecology. So it's a very, very critical that we work together. We are very much happy to be invited here. I think it's our third time to be invited. We were participating virtually. Now we have come physically. I've looked at the program, really, really interesting program. So the program contains, some of our fights, some political spaces, and also a lot of learning, which will help us also to further our agenda. I will be participating in a lot of events. So thank you very much for inviting me again. Thank you all.
Morning, everybody. This is a bit overwhelming. I'm Helen Browning. I'm Chief Exec of the Soil Association. I've spent my life as a farmer not that far away from here. And it's amazing to be here, to have the opportunity to take a moment to celebrate and think back about what this conference has become and where it's going into the future. This used to be, in Patrick Holden's day at the Soil Association, this used to be the slot at the very beginning of January where the organic movement came together in Cirencester, another bastion of conventional agriculture. And I'm delighted that this early New Year slot, where we've all spent perhaps a little bit of time in reflection over Christmas and the New Year, exploding into life in a way that is quite discombobulating, actually, sometimes, to come together in the way that we are coming together now in these kind of numbers. It is just extraordinary. And like the organic movement, this conference has always been about showing an alternative pathway. And we have done that. If anything, if this conference is anything to go by, it's really clear where the energy is in this world right now. And this conference has been so influential in actually setting up that alternative pathway. And at the Soil Association, we're just delighted to be able to partner with the Real Farming Trust and with all the people who make this happen. You have done an extraordinary job. And I guess it's a symptom of the success of this gathering that down the road in the Oxford Farming Conference, in that mainstream conference, that this one was a little bit set up to show, as I say, an alternative route, that their theme this year is diversity. The world is shifting on its axis really fast, and I hover between real hope and despair. And I'm sure a lot of us feel that way in our everyday lives. There's so many people doing so much brilliant work, and yet there is so little time. And it's a huge responsibility, those of us who have land to care for or influence in this field, when what we do will be so crucial to the survival not just of humanity, but for every species on this planet, for our survival and our well-being. But that load of responsibility is hugely lightened by the opportunity to come together, to learn and share together in the way that we'll do over the next couple of days. Walking that balance, and I'm aware of this in my life all the time, walking that balance between hope and despair, between continuing to be challenging of the orthodoxy, but also welcoming all those who are, even if they're only just starting to think about how they can become part of this movement. That is a balance we always need to strike. We need to have our arms really open to all of those who want to change, who are starting to think about changing, who, like all of us, are still in the foothills of the changes we need to see. And so one thing I would like to urge as we go through the next year or the next months, in the UK, this is an election year. And it's going to be so important for the future of this planet that our politicians actually really understand that there is one clear, unified voice around the future of our countryside, the future of our food, the future of our society, that we actually agree on far more than we disagree on. So a number of us have come together to develop this consensus around the future of food, farming and nature. It's been signed up by a lot of organisations, including many in the room here today. But we'd love more farmers to get behind it too, and to be actually showing solidarity across nature, farming and food in a way that will make sure that politicians recognise that this is important, that they need to invest in the future of our farming, of our landscape, of nature, and that society will really welcome that of them. So just to say well done to all the organisers of today, and I hope you have an absolutely brilliant couple of days.
Thank you, Helen. Good morning, everyone. My name is Hanan Kara. I'm a 27-year-old land worker, member of FLAME, the youth wing of the Land Workers Alliance. FLAME, thanks, Dee. FLAME stands for Food Sovereignty. We stand for youth involvement in sustainable food production. And I think, for me, the most important part of it is that we are the voice of the people who are going to inherit the earth. All the people in the room today, we're all going to die at some point. Those who go on after us are going to be the ones who are going to inherit the earth. So I'm nomadic. I live in a converted removals van. It's quite cosy. But over the past 4.5 years, it's taken me and my partner across the UK to various amazing agroecological initiatives. Not that I knew that they were agroecological at the time. I've been to orchards, triple SI woodlands, hedges, permacultural small holdings, small fruit and veg farms. And the thing that unites it all is this feeling of being part of a movement, this feeling of being part of something bigger. That's part of why I'm so grateful to hear voices from across the world today. I'm grateful to see people I know here, people I've never met, people I've seen in the newspaper. And the thing that I'd like to sort of get across is the perspective of someone who's been to lots of places, who's had to adapt quite quickly to changing situations, be it water coming in the roof, be it needing to move on to new work, somewhere completely different. And the thing that I've learned is very quickly I've had to learn how to cooperate, how to live alongside other people, collaborate, and be open and honest with each other. The thing that I urge everyone here today to take away, both into the conference and into your lives, is to be open-hearted, be open-minded, and always be up for conversation, be up for learning from other people, be up for sharing your gift. Everyone's got a gift to bring. And Robin Wall Kimmerer, an American author with indigenous roots, talks about our gift as a species in the greater web of life. She believes that humans perhaps have the gift of language, of imagination, I would add to that we have the gift of reflection, that we have the gift of recognizing our responsibilities and acting on them. So my last words, I think, today would be to bear in mind that you are always responsible. There's a lovely word in a book by Richard Bach called Illusions, where he talks about responsibility being able to respond. And in this changing world, in this ever increasingly quick world that we live in, we need to be able to respond from our hearts, from our souls, from the land, and that's paramount. Whatever happens, be able to respond. Thank you all for listening. Have a lovely conference.
Wow, what a session. I'm the last one before Fran to stand before you today. My name's Charlotte Dufour. I work with the Conscious Food Systems Alliance Secretariat. I'm also a future farmer in the land that now hosts my husband and I in Burgundy, so very grateful already for all the inspirations here. The Conscious Food Systems Alliance is a network of practitioners like yourselves who are convinced that changing the technology, changing the policies is only one part of food systems transformation. But we also need to work on the inner dimension of change. We need to cultivate the inner capacities such as compassion, deep listening, inspiration, collaboration that will help us deeply transform the food systems at all levels. And we do so by cultivating connections to self, to nature, and to others. What I'd like to offer now is actually a moment of connection, of mindful connection. And I'd like to invite you to close your eyes for a moment. You can sit down comfortably, connect with your breathing, feel the ground beneath your feet, this powerful land that we're all standing on, this powerful crossroads, as Charlotte invited us to remember, a crossroads of fertility, of knowledge sharing, of pilgrimage. Take a moment to appreciate this welcome that the land of Oxford is offering us today. For all of you online, I invite you to imagine a golden thread weaving through the earth, connecting you to all of us here in Oxford. Feel gratitude for this welcome. Allow this land to infuse you with its knowledge, its wisdom, its care. And mindfully connect to the land you've come from. Feel the power of your land connecting to the power of this land. Like a web of mycelia traversing all of the earth, we are connecting to each other. By connecting to each other, we are connecting the lands of this beautiful planet. We are inviting a fertilization of the wisdoms that have come from all corners of the world. Take a moment now to connect deeply with yourself. I invite you to reflect, to set an intention for this conference. What have I come here to receive, to give, to learn? What is the real farming I want to do by being here? The farming of my land, but it can also be the farming of my relationships, the farming of myself, the real farming of myself. You may want to take a notebook and write that intention down if you wish, or let it bud gradually in your heart, in your body, in your mind. Allow the waters that Di poured into the bowl to feed those seeds. Allow the soils that are nourishing the apple tree to feed your own tree of life. Take a moment to feel a connection heart to heart to all of those present here and online. Opening up to gratitude, curiosity, care. And with those words, I wish you a conference full of joy, full of inspiration, and full of radical love. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you very much to all our speakers today, and thank you very much to all our singers. It's been a fantastic opening, and it's so fantastic to stand here and to welcome you to the 15th Oxford Real Farming Conference. A big welcome to everybody in Oxford, and a big welcome to everybody who's joining us online around the country and around the world. So I'm Fran Price, I'm the conference director, and I just wanted to speak on behalf of the team in saying thank you very much for making the journey here, and thank you very much for joining us wherever you are. I know many of you have been coming to Oxford for many years, and some of you might even have been here right at the beginning. I don't know if you want to give us a shout out, who were? Yes, oh, Helen's putting her hand up, and I know there's a lot of you here as well who have been here right from the beginning and helped us shape the conference into what it is today. We are really grateful. It is today the biggest gathering of the agroecological movement on the planet. So that is fantastic. Yeah. I know some of you, this might be your first time. I just want to say you are all welcome and you're all very much needed. We've still got a lot of work to do. So thank you very much. I also want to acknowledge that this conference is shaped by its delegates. It always has been. The 150 sessions that you will see, or well, you won't see them all, that you'll get to choose from over the next couple of days, have been put together by the people in this room and in the rooms out there, and other people joining us online as well. So we acknowledge the hard work that everyone has put in to bring this conference together. We've got 400 speakers this year. I think that's an all-time record. But those of you who are not speaking, don't think you're just here to listen. We want to hear from you too. So please ask questions, join in the discussions, speak up. This movement is only as strong as those who choose to speak up. So I've just got a little bit of housekeeping before I let you all go. This conference it's really full. As you know, we sold out tickets, in-person tickets, about 2 months ago. So we've got to be really careful with the room numbers, which might mean that you don't always get into the sessions that you want to see. If you get to the room and it's full, the volunteer, who they're all wearing orange jackets, will be able to direct you to another room that's not so full through the almighty power of WhatsApp. So just be a bit careful as you go around. If you really want to see a session, I just advise you to get there as soon as you possibly can. We're stretched across 8 venues this year. They're all come off the main room outside. There will be volunteers along the main road. So please ask people if you get lost. Be careful crossing the road. I think pretty much everyone out that door in the next couple of days will be delegates for the conference, but just be mindful of each other. I think that's all I've got to say. I just wish you a really good couple of days. I mean, we're here to learn, but we're also here to connect and to celebrate. And I just wanted to make one comment, was that I think it was Helen who spoke about despair, but I learned a new word this week. It was rispair. And it's a word that died out, apparently, in the 17th century. But what it means is fresh hope. So I hope that you leave this conference full of fresh hope, and you take that back to your homes around the country and around the world. Good luck, everyone.